let's do a home video. um, this is a quick vid on just the physical wear and tear. I again, a lot of these topics I revisit, and this is like 3 years after the fact. How nursing has worn on my body. Like I said to my girlfriend, yeah, maybe on the outside I feel I'm still young. My patient was like, "I thought you were in your 30s." It's like, no, my son's going into his 30s. Um, Inside, I'm a mess. It's a lot of wear and tear. You've got to be in pretty good shape. If you got issues already, let's say walking specifically, let me say that, and this is predominantly for bedside. I mean, if you're in outpatient care, let's say like dialysis or something like that, or like urgent care, maybe it doesn't matter so much. I don't see my friends there having that much of an issue, um, because it's almost like a semi office job. Whereas bedside or inpatient acute care, you're running around a bit, especially med surge bedside. You're running around, depending on your unit size too. Our sister unit's huge, just land wise, it's huge. So same assignment, I'm just walking twice as many steps versus my home unit. But even that unit, I'm walking 12 to 15,000 steps. On my sister unit, I can go 18 to almost 20,000 steps in a shift. I do walk more than the average nurse, but let's have that number then, 10,000 steps for a shift. Forget about the rest of the day or whatever, which won't be much on a shift day, but you're talking quite a bit, right? Invest into comfortable shoes and the sole impacts and stuff like that. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm fighting plantar fasciitis right now. I used to chart standing up to keep myself awake. I can't do that anymore. It's just physically not able to chart standing up anymore. I mean, I sneak in a little bit here and there as I go through my shift, so that when I'm really sitting down to charting, I'm usually one chart done, or maybe one and a half, or just something where I have at least my thought process in place. And that goes into time management and you starting out as a nurse. Number one skill, by the way, you have to master that, or you should master that before going on your own. There's more and more new nurses coming on versus when I was coming on. You saw maybe 10% of units turnover at that point, coming on at a time. Oh, geez, we easily, continually 25. It used to be like, okay, graduating class, this cohort, whatever, 10%, maybe, for the year, maybe 20% then, right? It's coming any which time throughout the year. Um, it's going to be over 50% turnover, probably closer to 60s. I had to do the numbers out, but I mean, just eyeballing it, I could see 60 as a majority, maybe much more, by 2023. I haven't even seen all the new ones yet. Um, it's just an enormous turnover. That's the nature of the game, though. That's the nature of the business. It's good and bad. You have much more leverage out there. You guys coming in, it used to be you're dealt, this is what you're going to do, this is whatever, you got to go on night shifts and work your times. Mm-mm. We actually flip that around. The new cohorts have to go to day shift, and there's good and bad to that. I won't even get into it now, but it's completely flipped on its head. So it's kind of hairy. Coming in at a time though where it's hairy, but your negotiating power then is that much more because they need you. And that's what I was explaining to somebody recently, and they're experienced nurse, but they were worried. They were just coming off contract. She's a Filipino nurse, 15 years nurse, tremendous nurse. And I was like, the hell with them. You got the power. And she didn't believe me just because she's 15 years my junior, life wise, I have more experience, so I could tell her to negotiate, even though she has 5 times my experience nursing wise. I said, no, negotiate. She said, oh no, I'm scared. They offered, she accepted right away, and she thought she was gonna have a week off. Like she's like, oh, okay, they took forever to get that. Okay, so I'm gonna get myself together, get set. I can't wait to restart. She was already full time, but just under contract. Now she's gonna be full time. They called her in that night. They say, by the way, can you come in tonight? She's like, what? She's like, I'm awake. I didn't expect to be coming in at the earliest for a few days. You guys just offered me the contract. The ink is literally still wet. I said, I told you. You have the negotiating power. They need you. They're playing some stupid chicken game, and they blink, they're going to get screwed. No, so you guys have the power. Don't let anyone make you think differently. They need nurses in the worst way. It's unfortunate. So, wow, I went off the rails for a couple minutes there. I'm sorry. Going back to, but again, she's an older nurse. She's established, but she knows the game. She paces herself and can last. My other friend, she's 26 years into it. She also got off contract finally and paces herself. They can conserve their bodies. Most of my viewers and I were older people. So we need to learn that curve very quickly. Conserve yourself. I'm not saying work out on your off days. I can't work out more than a day a week. I used to work out every other day, right? So, as a young man, now I'm an old man. I was like, no, if I even work out, it's once a week. But conserve your feet. That's very important. Conserve your back. Work more on flexibility. I don't think you should need to worry so much on strength or anything like that. Work on your flexibility and your range of motion. Don't overstretch, because that could ruin things too. So these are just general suggestions, but be aware of them. A lot of people try to take care of themselves. Try to, if anything, watch your diet. Eat right, prep as much as you can. That sounds like, it's like, workout prepping, right? And I say, no. Get into a habit of saying, okay, I'm going to have my dinner, I'm going to have my lunch, whatever, ready, pre-made, just like you'd make lunches for your kids. You have an idea of what you're going to make. You don't just like, you get into a rhythm and do that. That will help out a lot. In between shifts, prepping for shifts, that way you get into a rhythm. Because you might say, hey, I'm only working 3 days. You're wasted on the 4th day. You're wasted whatever. Even if you do 2, 1 off, 1. I tend to do 3 in a row, just get it done and out of the way so that I'm the child care. I have custody. So you need to kind of work that out, that you have a day of recovery. You do need that. We need that as older, adults. All right? So that's probably the main thing is be aware of what your physical limitations are and play to that. I was not suggesting charting standing up. I did it just to keep myself awake, but I can't do that, So I gotta suggest the same thing to you guys. Don't chart standing up. For me, it felt more natural. But I didn't realize how long. You're talking, 12-hour shifts, 14, you're really there 14 hours almost. It's not easy. Okay. Good luck.